The following podcast has been paid for by Perched on the Top Rope.
Them boys from Sandy Fort, Delaware, baby. Perched on the Top Rope podcast. You better listen to it, or I'm gonna be on the perch on the top rope, and I'm gonna drop this froggy bow on your head.
To the Briscoe family, the friends of the Briscoes, and those who worked with the Briscoes, may Jay Briscoe rest in peace. Welcome, everyone, to Perched on the Top Rope. I am your host, former dirt sheet writer Lee Walker, and together the band is back together after a few months. Ladies and gentlemen, I am joined by the Perched Correspondent, Mr. 100 himself, attending 100 shows, YouTube.com's In Justin We Trust, Justin Largertoe. And we also have, from twitch.tv, Perched on the Top Rope, our YouTube editor, our main man, Alex Todd. The band is back together, boys.
Guys, I missed you so much.
As Lee said, the band is back together, and it's just too sweet. Woo!
Yeah, not gonna lie, guys, between a string of unfortunate family circumstances for both Lee and I over the past couple months, and then for the past couple weeks, the reason I have been off the show personally is because I was having an upgrade done on my computer. Took a little longer than we thought it was going to. Good thing though about that is we got a new graphics card, new processor in the computer, so now we should not run into any issues when it comes to streaming again. I do plan on being back on Twitch on the Perched on the Top Rope Twitch channel this coming Sunday.
So Wednesday night, the main event of AEW Dynamite is Briscoe versus Jay Lethal. We see Mark come out with not just his ROH Tag Team Championship, but his brother's belt also. A phenomenal match. Now, last week, Justin, we talked about this. We didn't get the big tribute show like we thought we were going to get. And we know why, because Warner Media and things like that kind of put a block to it. But this week, given different circumstances, it has been noted that they allowed it. And moving forward, we will see more of Mark Briscoe on AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage, according to the dirt sheets. What'd you guys think of this match?
So I started getting emotional and teared up a little bit from the very moment that Mark came out from behind the curtain. The fact that he had Jay or Jamin's Ring of Honor tag team title kind of pulled at the heartstrings of I feel like everybody in attendance from what I was watching I couldn't have been the only person at home that felt that way. It's not often. I don't even know if it has happened, if we've had a major pro wrestling champion die while still holding the title. And so to, see that soon after he passed, that his physical title belt was there with Mark, it brought a tear or two to my eyes, but it was a very touching way to show respect for the man and the performer, Jay Briscoe.
Yeah, match was great on Dynamite. Jay Lethal, that is, and Mark, who obviously is Jay Briscoe's brother, real life and in professional wrestling. They're both very close to Jay. And, like Alex said, once you saw Mark come out and he has the 2 Ring of Honor tag titles, it gets emotional at that point. And it was great to see, the big pop for Mark when he came out. He got a great reaction when the music hit. For somebody who's never been on AEW television before as well, take that into consideration. And, a great way to pay tribute to Jay. And, I think this is just something we're going to see over the next few weeks. Obviously, Tony Khan has said the tribute show that they pre-taped last week, which is actually now on YouTube and Honor Club, for anyone who wants to check that out. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but I'll definitely be taking a point this weekend to sit down and watch that. And, Supercard of Honor will also be dedicated to Jay Briscoe. And I'm sure everyone is aware, but Pro Wrestling Tees also has a t-shirt up where 100% of the proceeds is going to the Pugh family. So if you can, make sure to buy the shirt and help out that family as much as you can. I know I already ordered my shirt and I'm just waiting for it. So, great stuff to see from this company. We know how respectful they are. When one of their current talents is deceased and it just comes out of nowhere. We saw that with Brody Lee a few years ago. So good on Tony Khan fighting for a moment like this to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys probably touched on it last week, but just good on the entire wrestling community for the way that this was handled. The acknowledgement of Jay Briscoe's passing between all companies, Impact, AEW, WWE, and so on and so forth. It's nice to see WWE especially changing a little bit when superstars or talents that pass away that never worked for their company are still acknowledged on air. We saw it when Don West passed away as well. It's very touching, and it's a sign that I think times are changing a little bit, and all companies are kind of realizing that they're all this big family, and it's one big family, and we're all here for each other.
It's just really nice to see that WWE, as you said, go that route, because like in the WWE universe, they prior for a long time they kind of like pretended that they were the only thing that existed.
Yeah.
And once you left the company, like you weren't brought up again. I mean, we saw in the early 90s where WWF under Vince McMahon made fun of a lot of the wrestlers like Hulk Hogan, Mean Gene, Bobby the Brain Heenan, and things like that, Macho Man, and the older talent that jumped ship to WCW in commercials. We, in the early 90s, though, we also did see Vince McMahon work with ECW, knowing that they were bringing up talent, this and that, had a good working relationship all the way up until, he bought the company. So it was great to see, especially like hearing on NXT, all of a sudden out of nowhere on commentary. I mean, literally out of nowhere, they bring it up, and it was nice. And then to also see WWE's Twitter account pay tribute, sending their condolences and retweeting all of the company's talent that were tweeting about Jay Briscoe and acknowledging stuff like that. So I hope that like moving forward, we see more of this, and we'll get into this in a little bit, because in the Royal Rumble, we're expecting some things, I know that I can count on Roman Reigns not coming out at number 30 and Alex not running for his life. I know that much.
That never, ever gets old. What Rumble was that now? That was, I think,
20 ironically, it was 2017, the last time they were in the Alamo Dome.
I thought it was. We talked about this before. Yeah, because it was the year that Orton won. Because as soon as that was the first year that they started using Roman as the last guy that would get eliminated by the guy that would win to get the massive pop for the winner. And when he came out, everybody thought that he was actually going to win, and Lee legitimately wanted to kick my ass.
Yep.
I've never ran that fast in my life.
I think it would be funny if Roman Reigns did come out at 30 this year, by the way.
Oh my God, what if he loses to Kevin Owens earlier on in the night? and then comes out and fucking wins the Royal Rumble.
That
Alex,
would be
you better get your running shoes.
I know. I'm actually gonna change the I'm gonna double deadbolt all of my doors because now that I said that, if it happens, I feel like within 5 minutes of that happening, Lee's gonna have me dead.
true. While we were on the topic of AEW, they announced today that they have a new deal, which will allow them, allow fans in Europe and Asia to be able to catch AEW, including AEW Dynamite, Rampage, Dark Elevation, all 4 of the Battle of the Belts, and their pay-per-views as well on what is it, Danzin, DAZN, that network, which also
known as Danzenhausen.
Fuck off.
they also work with Impact Wrestling. They also work with MLW. So this is a good thing for AEW. This also means probably an increase in sales and merchandise, increase in sales of action figures,
Which means increase in pay, baby.
replica belts, the video game if it ever comes out. Just
Fight for never, you mean?
Do we want to talk about that? Because there was news about that this week.
We might as well while we're talking about AEW and expansion. This isn't going to take that long.
Right.
Take the lead, Justin.
Okay, so as we've known for the last few years or so, AEW has been, I'm not even joking, I'm not exaggerating when I say that. AEW has been planning to release their first video game, simulation game, Fight Forever. Now, it's not like we haven't seen gameplay of this video game that is supposedly coming out one day. We've seen gameplay, we've heard who's in the game, who's not in the game. We've heard multiple different things from the AEW games community and Evil Uno, Kenny Omega, Aubrey Edwards, so on and so forth, everyone working hands-on with it. It sounds like the biggest issue right now, which is stopping this game from coming out, is the rating. So it was expected that it would be T for teen, which is usually how the WB games are rated. But by the sound of it, I forgot who the hell is working on the game, to be honest with you, but it sounds like the issue right now is they believe there's too much gore and too much blood in the game, which I'm assuming is coming from the Blood and Guts, or not the Blood and Guts match, the Lights Out match that they had already confirmed for the game, and we've actually seen gameplay on. Because, you go in attacks, you're all bloody afterwards. It doesn't just go away, it stays there throughout the match.
Maybe it's the exploding death match. Remember that?
Remember how
successful that was?
That's supposed to be in the game too.
Now here's my question. Does it actually blow up, or does it end like the actual match did?
Sparklers.
I'll be pissed if there's not sparklers.
Your console blows up.
The screen goes blank and Gilbert's entrance starts.
I was gonna say Gilbert's entrance too. But yeah, it sounds like the thing that's holding up that game from being released is the rating. So hopefully that gets settled at some point soon. It doesn't really help.
I feel like that shouldn't be a big deal though when it comes to the blood though, because some of the earlier WWE games had just as much, if not more.
But we are in 2023, Alex. A lot of things offend people a lot easier.
Yeah, I can't get on 2020. I can't get on Call of Duty anymore and yell and scream like I used to 10 years ago. I get flagged right away, and all of a sudden my account's suspended for a week.
Yeah, but there's a ton of games where there still is a ton of blood and guts and gore. Change the rating to TVM then.
Right.
But they don't want that. That's the point. They're trying to get more kids. They're going the WWE route. You can't blame them on that.
You can't blame them, but most of the people that are going to want to buy that game are closer to our age.
Yeah, but I think the issue is because I've seen images with Britt Baker with the blood and stuff like that.
Right.
There is a lot of blood in the match. But I think the more concerning part is where WWE were the stain will stay on the ring for a little bit, but then disappear. I don't think it does with AEW.
It doesn't.
And
No.
that's what I think. And that's what I think is becoming the issue. So now they're probably going back and coding it to where that it like the blood like dissipates and disappears after a while, which I've
Okay.
always kind of hated. But like with the WWE games, like when it kind of fades away, like I'm happy that at least it stays on the mat for a little bit type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and I can almost understand that because as much as most of the people that are going to buy the game are our age, there are going to be younger kids playing, and I'm sure parents aren't going to want like a blood covered ring, in front of their child on a video game. So I get that to an extent. Then
I also
Um,
wonder if it has anything to do with the intergender matches.
that, and I've also heard that a part of it has to do with the blood in the women's matches specifically, because if you've noticed throughout the years, even when blood is on in a WWE video game, if you do a women's match, they don't bleed.
No.
And AEW, from what I have read and what I've heard, has not gone that route and has also given their female competitors the option to bleed in the video game.
'Cause
So
I have seen screenshots of Thunder Rosa and Britt bleeding, so
yeah,
So
like I
maybe-
said,
maybe their
From-
theory is that, like, I don't know, domestic violence stuff or something. I don't know. Just let them make a fucking game.
by the way, when this game does come out, it'll be completely outdated because they changed the whole look of Dynamite.
oh yeah.
Well,
Wait.
and this game is supposed to be expected to be one that they can keep updating over the years, though. So they'll probably
Every 3
eventually,
years?
huh?
Every
Well-
3 years?
So here's the thing, though. It sounds like that the game's been actually done for a while. They just got caught up in this ratings thing. So it doesn't even sound like it's really so much on AEW as it has just been a waiting game. So I feel like once the game's up and running, they're going to be able to provide updates at a steadier pace than what we actually had to wait for the game. And I'm sure a new AEW arena will come into play and everything like that. Just like they added NXT 2.0 to 2K22.
Well, we'll see. When the game comes out.
Well, while we're on the topic of video games, WWE 2K23 just made its huge announcements. John Cena makes the cover. So it's a blank cover, all 3 different variations.
I was gonna say I didn't see anyone on the cover.
I saw, yeah, it looked cool though.
I saw a backwards cap and a chain in the middle.
There we go.
That was it.
And we saw early photos of the game. They also made some like announcements towards the game, and I think the biggest announcement that came out of it was the 3v3 and the 4v4.
War Games!
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you.
I'm excited for this game, dude. I've been reading a lot of what the developers have been saying as far as the War Games match the past couple days, and from what Justin has told me as well. Justin and I have done a decent amount of research on this War Games match for this game, and the fact that you have the ability to dive from ring to ring, you have the ability to fight in between the ring. I'm assuming that if you get up to the top of the cage, you can probably scoot from one side to the other to jump off of whatever, we'll jump onto whatever ring you want. That'll be seen once we get a release on the game. Lee and I have always been very biased when it comes to the Elimination Chamber match and the WWE 2K franchise. It's what we always play. When I go over to his house, we play 2K. The first thing we turn on when we sit down is an Elimination Chamber match. However, this might become my new favorite if you can play it well.
Oh, the first match I'm playing when this game comes out is War Games.
Oh yeah, it's not even a question.
Right.
The first match I'm trying. The only concerns I have so far with the game, one, will they have fixed Hell in a Cell where you can do more outside in between the ring and the cage? Because earlier games during its predecessors, you could do all sorts of stuff. Now you can only do a couple, like a kick and a punch. No real moves like you used to be able to. There's not a lot of like wiggle room between the ring and the cage like they used to have in the older WWE games.
Yeah, like no matter what way you hit them, it always defaults to one specific knee jerk to the stomach, head behind the neck thing, or you can throw them into the cell wall.
Yeah, but like you used to be able to run, you used to be able to do moves. You could still
jump off the turnbuckle.
Yeah, now like you really can't do any of that. Too, with the Elimination Chamber match, I would like to be able to do finishing moves off the top of the pods again. Because,
that one pissed me off.
Yeah, because like there's nothing cooler than being Rob Van Dam and hitting a 5-star frog splash off the top of the pod onto some poor soul like Johnny Laurinaitis.
The poor soul is usually me.
People power.
It's only not cool when you crush Triple H's windpipe.
Yeah. So the images look great. I don't know what console those were for or if it was PC. Really looked more like it was like video type image that they always do, where the graphics look a little different, as opposed to the video, but still looked phenomenal. I cannot wait.
I have one problem with the game.
Oh boy.
I don't think they needed to pick John Cena as the cover star this year, and I'm not saying that as an anti-Cena standpoint. You have so many superstars that have gained stardom in the past year or two that were worthy of that cover. I would have given Cody Rhodes the option, even though he hasn't been there super long, just because of the amount of fandom he has. I would have given Sami Zayn the option because of his popularity. I would have given Kevin Owens or Drew McIntyre, or Drew would have been a good one, but my number one pick, who I personally was my favorite that I wanted to see on the cover this year, would have been Bianca Belair.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I think she's head over toes put the most work in the company, other than probably Sammy or Roman in the past year, and I think that would have been a great female talent to put on the cover of the video game.
Okay,
yeah, I'm with Alex on that one.
I'm gonna hit you with a little theory of mine here, and not Austin theory, if you will.
Okay, good. I was going to ask you to specify that.
You're welcome. What if 2K Games goes back to what like THQ was doing? Getting on the cover puts you in the hall. What if this is Cena's, because the game's coming out March 17th, just a few short weeks before WrestleMania. Where's WrestleMania?
I don't think Cena's going in the hall this year.
No, I don't think Cena's done. That's the only reason I wouldn't say that.
So it's just a theory.
It is a good theory.
And yes, Justin, I agree. I know that he's not done wrestling because there's a rumor of him facing Theory.
Hey, Ric Flair wasn't done when he got put in the hall.
Far from
also
done.
True. Yeah. And he wants to wrestle again. Can you imagine that?
I'm not even talking about his post-wrestling career. I mean, he was still technically a wrestler at the time that they announced it. They just didn't know he was retiring yet.
Kurt went into the Hall of Fame too, and he still wrestled quite a bit afterwards.
I know, Kurt wasn't even retired.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. I think there's a lot more that could have been done with the cover this year. Honestly, another good one would have been to do like a solid graphically edited shot of the entire bloodline.
Yes.
And put it right on the cover with them doing the ones to the sky.
I understand if you can't get like Solo and Sammy in there, but if you could get like the Usos and Heyman and Roman, I think that would have been perfect.
Yeah, just because like whether you love the bloodline or hate them, their entrance is just so fucking dope when they all come out together.
Right. When that music hits, you shut up and listen. Like,
who'd have ever thought that we'd be saying that about a faction led by Roman Reigns?
Right.
But like, my favorite thing on TV, considerably, every week, I tune in for. If I only tune in for one segment of wrestling a week, it's the Roman Reigns segment every time.
Absolutely.
Well, so far we just brought up a bunch of WWE names, and so far a lot, if not all of those names, were on Raw XXX. How naughty. Ooh, getting kinky up in here, but speaking of that.
Yeah, I usually skip past that part.
I just want to point out, anyone listening to this right now, please do not Google Raw is XXX. Only a few WWE images will pop up, and I don't know if you want to see the rest.
But speaking of that, Justin, our Perched Correspondent, was at WWE Raw, the 30th anniversary. Justin, the floor is yours. Tell us about the whole experience, what it was like. Take it away.
Yeah, man. So going in, obviously you guys know I was just so fucking hyped up. 100th show in my lifetime. Not gonna lie, kind of getting off the highway and pulling into the parking lot of the building, it was, some feelings were there. Just having that in the back of my head. Yep, you feel me, Lee. You feel me. So as you guys know, there were some exclusive merch items as well. They had two Raw 30 t-shirts, the I Was There shirts. They had a Raw 30 hoodie that I kind of wish that I got, but I'll just grab it from WB Shop, I'll be honest. And then they had free exclusive replica belts. Now, if you've seen these Signature Series titles on WB Shop, you know what these kind of look like. But these were only available at the building. So they created a separate title for pretty much each different generation of Raw. The first one was the Winged Eagle, and it had a strap that was similar to the Neon entrance set, if you recall that. The second one was the Attitude Era, so you had the big eagle center plate with the side plates. And the best way to describe the strap, it was kind of, it was rough, jagged, like it had, not like spray paint, but it had like the Attitude Era logo, the Raw is War logo, all that good stuff, scratch logo and everything. And the third one, which was probably the least liked out of the three, was the spinner. And it had like, if you remember the 2002 Raw graphics, where it was like, the sparks and the little metal edging and everything. But all three of them were really cool, all priced at $750 each. And I was feeling special the other night, and I decided to grab the Winged Eagle Championship, which is sitting proudly at my feet right now, and I can't stop looking at it. Don't regret it. Love that it's here.
Justin hasn't stopped looking at it, and also his pants haven't been on the entire show.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll get into the show. So I will say, and I don't know how you guys felt, but I think this was the best first hour of Raw that we've had in a long, long time. We started with the Bloodline segment, which, if you remember, was supposed to be the Bloodline acknowledgement ceremony, and that was scrapped. Speculate on why you believe it was scrapped. I have my theory, my Austin theory. And it was scrapped for the tribal court of Sami Zayn, based off the events of last Friday night on SmackDown, where Kevin Owens pretty much left Roman Reigns laying, and Sami Zayn did nothing.
Well, Justin, before you continue, there's actually been a little bit more on why the original segment got canceled. One of the members of the Anoa'i family wasn't able to make it for one reason or another, but then the other reason that I think is the biggest reason is that it was noted that Rikishi was sick last week.
I did see that.
He's gone on to say it himself. That was the reason he wasn't able to make it to the show. Speculate on whatever sickness it was. But then I was on Facebook personally earlier today, and Rikishi actually made a post on his personal Facebook talking about how he had some things that he needs to air about the Bloodline in particular and Sami Zayn. So the post seemed more like he was in character rather than shooting. So I would lead to believe that Rikishi had to have been involved heavily in that segment some way or somehow.
Right.
Which,
But-
like, haven't gotten to see a segment with Rikishi that involved in fucking 20 years, and the man goes and gets sick, and we don't even get to see it.
Right. Maybe next time, Keish. Maybe next time. But
I love Rikishi.
as you said, the Bloodline 9 times out of 10 has the best segment every show, whether it be Raw or SmackDown. This was no different. You had Paul Heyman literally telling Sami Zayn he wishes he was dead. That was interesting.
Yeah, the fact that he was allowed to straight up say that on television. Okay.
Even in the building, I'm like, that's a little rough, man.
Yeah, especially considering that he was just telling Roman on SmackDown the week before that maybe it's better to have Sammy on the inside of the castle pissing outside than on the outside pissing in. He was praising him the week before. It shows up on Monday and he's like, kill yourself.
Right. Very, very interesting. Very interesting change of pace from Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman's going through some bipolar disorder right now.
But, segment went, they showed a few different clips over the last year of, Sami Zayn either talking to someone like Kevin Owens and, lying about it or running away while the Bloodline's getting their ass kicked. Stuff like that. Then it came to the point where Sami Zayn was asked if he had a defense for all this. He said he did not. The tribal chief was not happy about that. And he pretty much told Solo, take him out. But before Solo could do it, Jey Uso, of all people, steps in.
Main event Jey. Main event Jey.
Main event Jey Uso.
Bro.
Steps in.
Let's just talk about the quality storytelling that we've got going on right here.
Right.
This is a sub-story of the Bloodline story as a whole that has been going on since when around did Sammy start hanging around with the Bloodline?
About a year ago, like right after WrestleMania.
Yeah, like right after WrestleMania, and him and Jey Uso had problems not too far after that whole thing got involved. So this is almost a year worth of storytelling and progress on WWE's part. Seldomly, in modern era, have we seen WWE plan, not necessarily plan, because who knows if they plan this, because you couldn't have planned the popularity that Sami Zayn has uptaken lately, but you don't see them continue on with storyline continuity for as long as we've seen with this whole entire story between Sami Zayn and Jey Uso. You want from him not being able to stand him to that being like his best friend.
Right. Yep, but Jay stepped in. He stopped Solo Sikoa from giving Sami Zayn the Samoan spike. And Jay had prepared a defense for Sami Zayn. And he showed all these clips of Sami playing Roman's music to distract people like Riddle, stepping in and taking a Claymore kick or a chair shot, pushing the other member of the Bloodline out of the way, winning the War Games match for the Bloodline at Survivor Series. Just everything that could help Sami Zayn was shown here. All because of main event Jey Uso. And the verdict was that Sami Zayn was not guilty for now.
For now.
We'll find out his true loyalty at the Royal Rumble per the tribal chief.
I gotta say, this is probably the most excited I've been for a Royal Rumble pay-per-view in probably like a decade.
Yeah, it's got a lot of good stuff going into it. Yeah, we'll get into the Rumble in a bit.
Yeah.
But following that, we had the Judgment Day facing the Usos for the Raw Tag Team titles. Yes, the Raw Tag Team titles, not the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles, because Triple H has decided he wants these titles to be defended separately, which I agree with. And I was kind of surprised coming out of this, because the Judgment Day I thought had the best chance of being the ones to beat the Usos since I don't even know when. It's probably within the last year. I usually just expect the Usos to win all these scenarios, but they've been a hot act on Raw recently, the Judgment Day with ex-con Dom and Mommy. But it was not their night here. Jimmy Uso kind of went splat on the mat to the outside, and he couldn't continue the match. Adam Pearce then gave the decision to, if you want Sami Zayn to substitute for Jimmy, I did it for the Judgment Day, that's cool. So Sammy goes in there. He's officially a Sammy Uso now. And he hits the 1D with Jey Uso, and they retain the titles for the Usos. Great moment. Great moment.
I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I absolutely love everything that the Judgment Day does now on WWE television.
I have also turned a corner on the Judgment Day.
I hated them for so long, but it's such a weird concept in wrestling when you realize that you're not getting over with the crowd and you just start doing funny shit that basically makes you become a meme. Instant popularity with the crowd. That's what happened with this Sami Zayn heel turn run that he's had. He basically turned himself into a laughingstock meme like joke. And then from there on, the internet fan base is like, I love memes. Fuck yeah, I'm on board. The Judgment Day did the same thing Sami Zayn did. And I never thought I'd fucking say this. I love what Dominic Mysterio's doing right now.
Bro, same here. I was just about to bring that up. I've given Dominic shit for so long. At least 2.5 years now.
Mm-hmm.
I've wanted Samoa Joe to choke him out so bad when him and Ray were feuding.
So bad.
And it never happened, which always disappointed me. But there's a lot of disappointments in Samoa Joe's debut around that. It still pisses me off to think about to this day.
Both of them.
Yeah. Yep. But even when they did this heel turn and send him the Judgment Day, I wasn't too big on it. But ex-con Dom
is fucking hilarious.
It's fucking great.
Lee, I know you don't watch right now, so that's probably why you wouldn't get it. If you pay attention to some of it now, it's the fact that Dom knows that people thought the original heel turn and like his shit sucked. He knows that. And so he's using it to basically kind of make more of a joke of himself, and it's actually coming across very entertaining.
I know what it is. Like I've seen clips. I don't know. I don't find it funny, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, come on. I see that smirk on your face. There's something there.
It's all right, Justin. Lee has the capability to come around on things, though. He put hate on Seth Rollins' name for like a decade, and now is a fucking Seth Rollins stan.
It's the current gimmick, man. It's the current gimmick.
That's what it is with me and Dominic. That is why I like the ex-con Dom, and the fact that you know what I love that's actually kind of classy about it is that he's very clearly paying homage to Conan as well. With the flannel that he wears with just the top button. That is cool as hell, because it's not very often that you see Conan ever mentioned on WWE television.
Right. Well, I think the big issue with Dominic for like the longest time is they put him with Ray and he was his tag team partner. He was just Ray's son. Like there wasn't a whole lot to him. He just comes out smiling. His dad hops on his back and they walk to the ring sometimes.
Which I always thought was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It was
weird.
Just a little bit. Watch me carry my dad, guys.
Feeling his dad's wiener on his back on the way to the ring.
Yeah, no, it's a little strange. But honestly, I'm enjoying Dominic on television more right now than I'm enjoying Ray.
Yeah, I mean, Ray's not really doing a whole lot since he moved over to SmackDown. He's in that feud with Karrion Kross, but
kind of.
Yeah, it's on and off from week to week, it seems like. But following that, we had another great segment. We come back from commercial. LA Knight is in the ring. Yeah. You know why he was in the ring? Because whose game is it? It's LA Knight's game.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, he's hyping up his match with Bray Wyatt at the Royal Rumble this weekend. Talking about the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, which we still don't know what the fucking rules are to that thing. But he says any legend from Raw's history can come out here and they can start a fight with LA Knight and he will put them right down. So then we get the gong, and that's the Undertaker. Get the gong 3 times, but then it switches. And for the first time in almost 20 years, we officially get the American Badass, the Undertaker, on television. And this was... it's definitely between the Bloodline stuff and this segment where it was just the best part of Raw. Taker comes out, LA Knight gets out of the ring, and then Bray's music hits. Bray appears behind LA Knight. He kind of backs him back up into the ring. Taker goes to give LA Knight the choke slam, but then he just kind of throws him to Bray and he gives him Sister Abigail. Taker and Bray have a little bit of a face-off, and Taker rides off into the sunset once again on his motorcycle. Somebody can make the argument like this is, burying LA Knight, even though I feel like that word's just overused at this point. But I mean, hey, it's the fucking Undertaker and Bray Wyatt. It's not some fucking, legend who can't even take a bump at this point. But interestingly enough, Taker did not take one bump in this segment at all. Like he didn't even slam LA Knight.
Yeah, and well, it's interesting that people think of it as burying LA Knight too, because biggest issue most people saw in past Raw reunions, Raw anniversaries, what have you, was usually that the legends themselves were beating the hell out of up and coming talent, current talent on the roster, like when DX beat the hell out of the Revival, Heath Slater getting buried by a bunch of different legends, just a few examples. But this one was different because it wasn't necessarily LA Knight being beaten the hell out of by The Undertaker. The Undertaker just handed him off to a current star. And that seemed to be the theme of the show too, because we also saw, and you'll end up talking about this, the situation with Imperium later on in the show. Same idea. Right. They didn't have the legends beat the hell out of the up and coming talent this time for this show. So that was a nice touch that they used it more to progress. They used the legends as props to progress current storylines, which is what the business always should be.
Right.
I will say this. Hold on. I will say this.
Go ahead.
I can appreciate the spot with LA Knight and The Undertaker a little more after I had done some research to find out that Percy Pringle once managed Eli Drake. Now, if you don't know who Percy Pringle is, ladies and gentlemen, that was the previous gimmick of Paul Bearer.
I hear someone on the show knows his impersonation pretty well.
And if you don't know Eli Drake, well, that was Eli Knight's persona before LA Knight. So for me, it was kind of like a cool little tribute there between the two. They both had the same manager, which I thought was just a really neat little tidbit to add to that segment, which I think if WWE might have known that, and if they did know that, I think that would have been a great thing for commentary to bring up.
Oh, yes! Oh, whose game is it, Undertaker? It's LA Knight's game! Yeah!
Oh, that was incredible.
I took a bow. But anyway, Alex, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about this. The next segment was the steel cage match, or what was supposed to be the steel cage match, with Becky Lynch and Bayley, which it was more of a beatdown, and the match did not end up happening.
Yeah, so everyone's bitching about this segment and how, we paid so much attention to the legends on the show and that the females essentially got shafted in the situation because their segment got cut short. And the supposed reasoning for the segment getting cut short was that the opening segment with the bloodline ran a little longer than it was supposed to. So here's what I'm going to say. They're talking about how WWE has never paid attention to the women in their history, which used to be true. It used to be true, and these women would only get 3, 4, 5 minute matches. But since the women's evolution started years back, that really hasn't been the case anymore. We really haven't dealt with that as much as we have in, like the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era. Things have been a lot different in the more modern era. We get one segment where a women's segment gets cut short and everybody loses their mind. This is where I'm going to start. We're on the road to WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania season officially, basically once the new year starts. This happens to not just the women, but everybody around WrestleMania season, because your major concern must be whatever your planned main event of the show is, because that is what is going to make you the most money. That's what you want to market the most, and that's what you want to put the most effort into. That currently is going to be whatever Roman Reigns is doing. The Bloodline is the top segment, top act in all of WWE right now. Just so happens to be them. He had a show where a bunch of other legends were playing, so these people were probably already paid to show up, probably already paid to be on television, so you have to get them that spot. It's unfortunate that the women's match got cut short, but they have to call audibles in WWE all the time. Let's roll back to WrestleMania 35, where anything with Becky, Ronda, and Charlotte in it was getting more television time than anything else on TV. Seth Rollins faced Brock Lesnar in the opening match, in a match that was like 5 minutes long for the Universal Championship, so that way they could make sure that they had ample time for the main event for Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky. So the women were the focal point that year, and they had the most time. A world title match ended up being shorter than it should have because of that. That is one example. Let's go back to, I believe it was WrestleMania 28. John Cena physically cut time from his own match so Brodus Clay could go and have a moment at WrestleMania. So, yes, it sucks that it happened to be the women's match that got cut short, but they didn't completely disregard the program that was going on. They had Damage Control do a beatdown on Becky Lynch to keep the storyline going. It's not like they lost any heat on the storyline. They can still continue it. They can use it to make something better, which I'm sure they will at either the Royal Rumble or Elimination Chamber. So to everybody that's whining about this segment getting cut short, just realize that it happens all the time around WrestleMania season. It sucks, but it's not just the women that are prone to this. Quit bitching. It's Becky Lynch and Bayley. They'll be just fine.
It's like, Justin, you were there. The fact that you were there watching that, how did you feel watching the beatdown, realizing you weren't getting a steel cage match?
I kind of figured it would be one of those scenarios where, they do the beatdown, go to commercial, Becky Lynch gets on the mic when they get back, and they're like, hey, we're still supposed to have this steel cage match, and then they do the match. That's kind of what was in my head the whole time as I was kind of sitting there watching this. Yeah. And then it just never happened. They raised the cage up, and that was next segment.
So as a fan, myself, you advertise a cage match free on television, basically. It could have been anybody, and I'm going to be mad about it. Realistically, I'm going to be mad about it no matter, for that to happen. But there's also that sense to a degree that, there wasn't a lot of women interaction on Raw 30. Another thing I noticed that people complained about was the lack of women legends for Raw 30. And my only answer to that is, well, the Royal Rumble's Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where they're being saved for. So, Alundra Blaze is 60 or 61. Yeah, she's not getting in the ring. So It made perfect sense to have her have a spot for Raw 30.
Why use the pop on Raw 30 when you can use it at a pay-per-view, less than a week later?
Right. Yeah. So, I can understand people bitching. I really can. I would have bitched no matter what the match was, because you're advertising a steel cage match. I'm expecting a steel cage match, because when WWE does a steel cage match, you at least know you're seeing people get thrown into it. Possibly the door gets slammed on somebody. Someone, all the different theatrics of, hey, the person's trying to climb over and I stop it. A big suplex comes out of it, or a power bomb off the top rope. Moves like that we've seen that, it's a good pop for a regular match, but when you see it done like that, it's a whole new level of enthusiasm that we get while watching. So having that happen sucked 100%. And I can understand why everybody was upset. but the ratings were great for the show overall. What the hell is there to complain about at that point, realistically?
Right.
It was
And
all great.
I guess for me it was more from a standpoint of somebody watching at home didn't mind the cage match not happening so much, but I would understand you being upset if you're in the crowd and you were there to experience a steel cage match live, possibly for the first time. So
Right.
I can understand that from a standpoint. I guess my train of thought just comes from the fact that it's a well-known fact that audibles have to happen occasionally in pro wrestling. It's a fact of life. And that is just a fact of life. Yeah.
Well, we're time traveling here, that's for sure. I feel bad for the production crew that had to, put this fucking steel cage together all day, and then it was used for practically no reason.
And then they had to take it down.
You're right. And if it were up to me, I probably wouldn't have cut time from this match. I probably would have just said, fuck the Bianca Sonya match that happened later on in the show. Just no point in the match. It doesn't really do anything for anyone. Just have Charlotte and Bianca beat her down, because that was the point of the whole fucking thing, to be honest with you.
Or even just have Charlotte and Bianca just do a fun little segment of their own.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure we'll get a rematch, whether it's a cage match or not. We'll get Becky and Bayley for the next few weeks on Raw, I'm sure.
Right, and those two are pretty much bulletproof, so it's not like it's gonna hurt their character at all.
Right. But from there, I can't even remember the next segment. Let me take a look.
Was it the DX segment?
And he was there, ladies and gentlemen.
Look, a lot of shit happens about these shows. Yeah, it was the DX segment. So D-Generation X comes out for their first reunion on Raw within the last 3 months.
They reunite like once a month on WWE television whenever Road Dogg randomly decides he's going to show up backstage on camera.
Well, I was there for their last reunion back in October on Raw. So, what's even funnier? They were wearing the DX in Brooklyn reunion t-shirts in this segment. So that I found funny. But
maybe they were in on the joke.
Right. So DX comes out, and you got Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, X-Pac, and everyone's favorite member from DX, Kurt Angle?
Bro, I gotta say, and I think most of the wrestling community agrees that the DX reunions have kind of become oversaturated. Aside from the fact that we just had one 3 months ago, the ones that they've done for all these Raw reunion shows the past couple of years, it's been the same old DX shtick every time. And, they're one of the few acts where, they're one of the few Legends acts for me that kind of became stale. Whether it be because, we've still been prone to seeing Road Dogg, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H on different WWE television products over the past couple of years, between NXT and Raw and SmackDown. And just the fact that they weren't doing anything different each time. But this was the first one that's actually been extremely entertaining for me since probably the reunion they did for Raw 1000.
Yeah, and they do this DX reunion pretty much at least once a year since Raw 1000, if you really look at it. Probably even earlier than that, to be honest with you, because
Road Dogg and Billy Gunn were in TNA before that.
Yeah, but even still, they were doing it with Triple H and Shawn at least once a year.
That's fair.
Yeah, but yeah, Kurt Angle was here. He played the role of badass Billy Gunn. Kurt Angle, a true legend after this night, a member of both D-Generation X and The Shield in his career.
Only two people to do that.
Right.
Kurt Angle and Triple H.
Right. Oh, I forgot about Triple H and The Shield. That's right. I forgot about that one.
I mean, you could almost count Seth Rollins if you count that one DX reunion that they did where they beat the hell out of the OC.
Yeah, that's a stretch, though.
I mean, he said, if you're not down with that, we got 2 words for you.
Yeah,
so, who knows? But, bro, the chemistry that Kurt Angle has with both Triple H and Road Dogg is absolutely hilarious.
100%.
Well, I mean, obviously he's worked with both of those men extensively. Not Shawn Michaels as much, but Triple H obviously in WWE, and then he got to work with Road Dogg, BG James, and TNA quite a bit as well. So the fact that they want to do the badass, and then it's just Kurt just standing there like,
Right.
Kurt.
Love it.
Kurt Angle is one of the best comedy characters of all time.
Jimmy crack corn, and I don't care.
Love that man. But then the fact that when Imperium came out, as you were probably going to bring up next,
yep.
They come out and interrupt, and they all do this shtick of, oh, I'm retired, I'm too damn old. Road Dogg goes, well, matter of fact, he goes, who am I kidding? I'm not going to fight you. And then they do the group huddle that they've done at the past couple of Raw reunions, and Triple H is just like, Kurt will fight you.
I also love how he called Kurt Butterbean.
No, he was talking to Road Dogg.
Oh, he was talking to Road Dogg? I thought he was talking to Kurt.
No, it was right after Road Dogg said, "Oh, I'm not going to fight him." He said, "Calm down, Butterbean," and he smacked him on the stomach. That's like Bully Ray calling Tommy Dreamer fat funny.
Oh, and you can watch that on Impact Wrestling every Thursday. But I digress.
Yeah, are you sure we're not still in like the mid 2000s, early 90s? Like Impact has like a Tommy Dreamer, Bully Ray rivalry going on, and then we've got DX out here with Kurt Angle. Like, are we in the Attitude Era again?
It's a time machine. That's what it is. But from there, DX kind of goes, man, I wish we had somebody to fight you guys. And Seth frickin' Rollins comes out, and they said, well, now at least we have one person. Now we just need two more. And you get the Street Profits. So guess what? You have 3-on-3. We just need somebody to make this match official, and it's not the head booker Triple H. Teddy Long comes out, and he announces that it's going to be Imperium versus Seth frickin' Rollins and the Street Profits in a 6-man tag team match, playa. So you have a 16, Jesus Christ, 6-man tag team match set, and they just need a referee. Thankfully, Kurt brought a lot of coverage, since it was very cold in Philadelphia that night. And he had an extra referee shirt on underneath, which I like the little striped red, white, and blue that he had going on.
Oh, yeah, that was dope.
That was cool. I like that. So we get a 6-man tag. Pretty good. Pretty much, if you ever been to like a live event or a house show, it's definitely one of those kind of matches to send the crowd home happy. Seth Rollins and the Street Profits get the win. And then we have the Charlotte, Bianca, Sonya Deville segment that I talked about earlier. Again, not much to say. Sonya comes out. Sonya and Bianca have a match. Bianca beats Sonya. Didn't expect anything else. Then Alexa comes on the screen, does her spooky shit, with Bray Wyatt and everything. I don't even know what the fuck's going on with that. So Bianca and Alexa are facing each other at the pay-per-view. That's pretty much what this whole segment was.
Back to the DX thing for a minute. I'm going to stand by the fact that Teddy Long has one of the dopest theme songs of all time. Slaps to this day.
You know it's the Mac Militant, okay?
I'm in to get it on. Yeah.
One day we got to have Teddy Long come out in a referee shirt. That'll be a real throwback.
Bro, what if in this segment
he could have been the referee?
I know. If Kurt Angle had not been involved, he comes out and makes a match, and Triple H goes, "Oh, I wish we had a referee." And Teddy just takes his jacket off and has one of his old school ref uniforms on under.
Oh man, I didn't think about that. Oh shit,
that would have gotten such a pop from the old school fans that knew him as a referee before he was on screen character.
Right. Oh man, I kind of wish they did that now.
Missed opportunities.
But we get to the main event. No disqualification match for the United States Championship. Austin Theory defending against Bobby Lashley. Pretty much what you would expect. Bobby Lashley pretty much kicks the shit out of him for the most part. Not a complete squash, but Theory has his little comebacks in between. Fun main event. It comes to an end when we get the Beast Incarnate, Brock. No, not Purdy. From the 49ers, Brock Lesnar makes his return to Monday Night Raw. And he lays out Lashley with an F5. He then picks up Austin Theory, gives him an F5, Fury lands on Lashley in a pinning position, and Austin Theory retains the United States champion, and this is the setup to the next match with Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, which I assume will be taking place at WrestleMania.
I would also assume that this is going to more so involve the Hurt Business reuniting as well.
Oh, definitely.
They've already shown signs of it on television, but now that the fact that they're going to be like, well, Bobby's going to need backup because he's facing Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar keeps attacking him, when he's not expecting it. So I definitely see the Hurt Business getting involved with this a lot more. I think this also puts to bed the rumors of Gunther possibly facing Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania for the Intercontinental Championship. I personally think after the Raw 30th anniversary show that the man currently on the front of my shirt after that lovely segment that we had seems to be a good fit to face Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship, especially considering that it seems like Seth Rollins has kind of undergone an official face turn now. And that also, in my opinion, I think that means that things with him and Cody Rhodes are done.
I don't think they're 100% done yet, and I'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But I still think it should be Sheamus facing Gunther at WrestleMania and winning that Intercontinental title finally.
That'd be nice.
Very interesting. Raw was very, very enjoyable. The legends for shows like this, in my eyes, are what really make the show. And this, the way they use the legends compared to when they've used legends in the past for these shows was done tastefully, done correct. And you also can't help but think, since he's now a legend himself, that Triple H might have a big part of that. Because back in the day under Vince McMahon, we watched legends like Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Mark Henry, Big Show have lights out. Next thing you know, they're all decimated. Things like that, I don't like seeing that. Or like the newer talent belittling the legends on, on Raw, for the special shows and things like that. This was an awesome, awesome, awesome way to do Raw XXX. I'm just kind of shocked that they didn't, try and reunite Edge and Lita for a little bedroom romance, if you will.
Well, I think that's mainly because they're also saving Edge's return, probably, for the Rumble. I feel like if he was on TV more around this time, it could have been possible, and also, Lita's probably going to be in the Royal Rumble, too, if we're being honest.
Yeah, because Lita was originally penciled in for this show, if we remember, and just wasn't there.
So, yeah, no, that...
Bellas.
Yep. Well, we know where the Bellas that ended up being, as you guys know, they ended up going live. Was it on Instagram?
Yep.
Was it the night of the show or the day after? Can't remember.
It was definitely the night of, because I woke up to it the next morning.
Yeah, and so their reasoning for pulling out of the show, which is funny because they said they pulled out of the show. Now there's reports saying that WWE pulled them from the show. Kind of seems like it came down to more of a disagreement with them because of the fact of WWE refusing to acknowledge the fact of those women like Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, or Saraya, formerly known as Paige. I don't think the Sasha Banks thing is too much of a big deal because, she just left the company. There's probably, I don't know. I feel like you're bringing up, it could almost be disrespectful to Sasha herself to now you want to do something with her now that she's gone. That and the TV package that they've played leading up to Raw 30, where they had the tapes going in and playing on the TV screen, they showed an image of Sasha Banks winning the Raw Women's Championship from Charlotte Flair. So it's not like they completely boned her out of Raw's 30-year history.
Right.
And Paige or Saraya, I mean, hadn't been factored in as a notable person on television in WWE for a long time before she left. So I don't know. I'm not trying to sound sexist at all. I just think there's certain reasons that they do certain things. And I don't think that this means that they're not going to be mentioned in the future.
Right. I think
Yeah.
it was a little more. I'm hesitant on saying this, but I feel like it was a little bitterness on the Bella Twins end. Because I feel like the story that they didn't have anything for the Bella Twins to do is probably true. Because it sounds like they sent the Bella Twins to do media instead of actually appearing on the show.
Well, I hate to say it, but Cena hasn't been around and Daniel Bryan doesn't work for the company anymore. It was like that was kind of their meal ticket before after they left. I'm sorry, it is what it is. But going back to what Lee said about how the legends were used, I liked that it was a good mix because these Raw reunions always went one of two ways. The legends either completely and utterly burying current talent, or the other way around, and the talent completely humiliating the legends. And in this case, they did neither, and they allowed current talent to intermingle and progress them while also paying homage to all the legends that made Raw what it was. So I think if they do these shows in the future, they should kind of program them a little bit and produce them a little bit more the way that they did this past Monday.
Definitely.
That's all I have to say about that.
Right on. Well, let's end the note and the show with the Royal Rumble predictions, and we're gonna play a game here, folks.
Oh shit!
Like games.
So for the fans listening, this will be a Facebook.com/perched on the top rope exclusive. So after you listen to our predictions on our post for the show, post your predictions in the comment section and tell who you agree with between Justin, myself, and Alex on who is going to win the men's Royal Rumble and the women's Royal Rumble. So you kind of get two chances to win, but the first person who comments and gets the right person who wins, out of the three of us, we will send you an autographed WWE Elite. It's going to be random, and some of the names that are in there include Heath Slater, Booker T, WWE producer Tyson Kidd, Wendy Richter. Those are just a few of the names. There's also Virgil, WWE legend. So fans, make sure after you go comment on Facebook.com/perched on the top rope, you'll see the post because it'll say Royal Rumble predictions. It'll be the first thing on the top. Pick who you think picked the right predictions, and good luck.
So, question on this game, then if you have a prediction picked and somebody before you picks them, you basically go with your next pick, your second best pick, so we're not voting for the same person?
So basically what I'm going to do is the person who comments first, the right prediction wins. You have to be the first comment. That's right.
I thought you meant that agreed with one of us. Okay, my apologies.
Well, they have to agree with one of us, but they have to be right, and the first to comment being right with us.
Damn, that's a lot of rules. What if all of us are wrong? Nobody wins.
Then sadly nobody wins, and
I'm gonna
go for the next pay-per-view.
Works for me.
Scott Steiner to do a cameo to explain all the rules.
It's simple. All you got to do is pick which one of us you think did the right prediction for the Royal Rumble for the men and women's. It's that simple. That's how you win. You got to be the first. Just be the first that's right in the comment section. That's it.
All right, then that means the three of us, none of us can pick the same person. Perfect.
Pretty much.
Okay, that works. Alrighty. Lee, since it was your idea, you want to start us off?
Well, we're just gonna go break down the card, and then we'll get into the Royal Rumble itself.
Okay.
Or we can go that way. So for the men's Royal Rumble, for whatever reason, there was like 3 top names that I'm thinking, but there's so much hype. There's all sorts of rumors out there. Rock says he's not ready to get in Mania shape. Stone Cold's had a bunch of money thrown at him for a Mania match. They've hyped the return of Cody Rhodes. And then you even just brought up some names that, really we don't know what the plan is, like a Seth Rollins, maybe even a Gunther, if he doesn't have a challenger. So I'm looking at his name. I don't think it's his time. I don't even think he'll be in the match. But I'm going to say it in hopes that this is what happens. I'm going to say Bray Wyatt. I don't think he's in the match, though. I really don't think he's going to be in it. I'm just going with Wyatt because I think it would be a great swerve from a couple of the names that I just brought up that are like heavily favored to, be part of it. So I'm going to say Bray Wyatt. For the women, there's only been like a few people announced. There's like, 20 plus spots still open, right?
I'm looking at it right now. 7 slots have been filled for the Women's Royal Rumble.
Oh my God. I don't know who the 7 are, but I'm going to say Rhea Ripley. Those are my 2 picks.
Okay. I like him. Justin, what do you think?
Okay. For the men's, I think there's only one way to go in this. We've heard the rumors about, Stone Cold getting a big money offer to come face Roman Reigns. It wouldn't even surprise me if we see Stone Cold in this match. It really wouldn't. They're in San Antonio. Stone Cold won his first Royal Rumble in the Alamo Dome. It'd be a full circle moment if he were to come back and win. But with all the hype, it reminds me a lot of, 2002 when Triple H went down with the torn quad and, they played all these video packages getting ready for him to come back, and he came back on Raw in Madison Square Garden to a massive ovation. I think it's the time, if The Rock's not ready and they're not doing this match with Rock and Roman, I think it's going to come down to Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes. And we'll tie the little knot in that story, end that. And I think it'll be Cody Rhodes eliminating Seth Rollins to win the Royal Rumble and face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, the question can come up if they want to do, because the Usos defending their titles separately now. Are they going to start doing the same thing with Roman Reigns? They could do a scenario where Cody challenges Reigns for the WWE title, since that's the one he wants. One night of WrestleMania, and then have Roman defend the title against someone else on another night of WrestleMania.
What if they pull the double elimination and have Seth and Cody eliminate each other at the same time?
It's possible.
You get one going for one title, one for the other.
But even still, I feel like Cody just tossing out Seth will be the perfect little ending to their whole story. And if they want to do like a rubber match, well, not even a rubber match because Cody beat Seth 3 times, but one more match to finish that whole thing off, they can, but I don't think it's necessary. I think this is a fine way to do it. But for the women, hang on, let me take a look at let me just go through the names since there's only fucking 7 of them announced so far. Liv Morgan, who is supposedly going to be entering at number 1. I don't think that's confirmed yet, though. Candice LeRae, Rhea Ripley, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Zelina Vega, and Emma. Now, you would imagine Becky and Bayley are going to be shoo-ins for this. Who else is there? I would imagine Asuka's probably going to be in it. She's been off TV for a few weeks. Io and Dakota just to fill slots. Who the fuck else is there? Trying to think of
The plethora of legends that are going to show up.
right. Them.
I imagine Lita and Trish will be in the match. I'm assuming, even though they had their issues this past week, that the Bella Twins will be in the match.
I'm expecting at least 1 or 2 women from NXT, since they have plenty of women in NXT right now. Jesus Christ, they had a battle royal a few weeks ago in NXT. They have 27 active females on that roster.
I also feel like this is where we get the Forbidden Door moment again. Always going to be the Women's Royal Rumble. I feel like that's where it would be more of a oddity as opposed to the men's.
See, there's a lot of people though that are guessing that with the men's Royal Rumble, this time I actually legitimately didn't mean to cut you off, Lee. I just wanted to talk specifically to you on this one. There's a lot of people that have also thought that with him doing the talent scouting that he did months ago, that it's possible that we might see like Minoru Suzuki show up in the men's Rumble, or even this one's actually been getting some talk lately with the retirement of Great Muta, that Muta might actually show up for one last big, huzzah at the Royal Rumble as well, so WWE can kind of pay tribute to him too.
Be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I agree with Lee. I think Rhea Ripley's the shoe-in to win.
Okay.
I just, when it comes to this, look, Bianca needs an opponent for WrestleMania. The original plan was Charlotte that we heard for months and months. Charlotte is obviously the SmackDown Women's Champion right now. It doesn't look like they're unifying the titles. So Bianca's ran through pretty much the entire Raw Women's roster by now. So Rhea, I think, is the next logical step in all that.
Okay. Well, you stole my original pick for the men's Royal Rumble match.
Well, fuck off.
Because that's just kind of how I thought the company was going to go. But I don't think Cody needs to win the Rumble per se to still be in the WWE Championship match at WrestleMania, especially with Elimination Chamber coming right around the corner. I'd almost rather see him in an Elimination Chamber match that allows him to compete for the title and have him win that. Cody loves to show blood and be fucking beaten when he wins matches, so that's right up alley for his BDSM lifestyle. However,
you might join the Judgment Day at that point.
Maybe. More like Punishment Day. Sorry, didn't mean to steal your gimmick, Damien.
I was just about to say Punishment Martinez, too.
So much of a better name than Damian Priest. Anyway, we were talking about audibles earlier with the Raw 30 show, and I think this year's Royal Rumble is the year that we finally call an audible, and we go with who everybody wants to win, who everybody is behind right now. I am going to say that the winner of Shut Up Lee, the winner of the men's 2023 Royal Rumble, is going to be Sami Zayn. I think he's the most over person in all of pro wrestling right now. And I think if you really want to give that Kofi Mania vibe, that WrestleMania 30 vibe, where you got the underdog going into WrestleMania, I think Sami Zayn's the man for the job. I think Cody Rhodes can still get a WWE Championship match, and you have Sami Zayn fight for the Universal Championship. That is if they're not already penciled in with him and KO to face the Usos. So that's where I'm going on that. As far as the women's Royal Rumble, there was a lot of speculation that Becky Lynch was the odds-on favorite this year to win. But then Charlotte Flair won the SmackDown Women's Championship, and now we have two babyface champions. Granted, Charlotte could turn heel tomorrow, and nobody would be surprised. But I'm gonna go with a heel on this match, and I'm gonna give the win to Bayley.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to see Bayley versus Charlotte one more time. We never really got a good program out of that when they had Charlotte beat her for the title before.
Maybe we could have Emma win, have a little celebration with the bubbles, get the Evolution started.
Instead of pyro going off in the background, it's just thousands and millions of bubbles.
We'll dance, you know?
I'd like to point out two things here. If they have Stone Cold in the Royal Rumble, as you know, they've talked about him having a big money match, as the rumors were, he would break a record in the Royal Rumble for having the most Royal Rumble wins ever, with 4 at that point.
He'd be breaking his own record.
Yeah, breaking his own record.
What?
If that were to happen, there's no chance anybody ever ties or beats his record.
I wouldn't say no chance.
I right now, the only person close enough to do it is Randy Orton.
If it was like 10 years ago, I would say no chance, but there are like 9 guys who have won at least 2 Rumbles now.
Yeah, but most of them are guys that were wrestling 10 years ago, Justin. Yeah, you got John Cena, Batista, Randy Orton, Edge. That's 4 right there.
Okay, Hulk Hogan.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shawn
What's
Michaels.
what's he doing these days, huh?
Not getting a microphone to work, that's for sure.
Yeah, he in Royal Rumble matches recently.
In the courtroom, maybe, yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't think that one's gonna work for us either. But Shawn Michaels, retired.
He came out of retirement. Don't say it's out of the question.
Yeah, and then he walked right back into it.
Okay, well, you know what? Austin Theory could win 4 Royal Rumbles in the next decade. So I'm just saying.
You think he's going to?
He could.
He will not.
At 23, he's probably like the most closest to be able to do it.
Yeah, probably with his age. But like, if we're talking about current wrestlers on the roster that would have the chance of getting closest, the only option is Randy Orton, and he's not going to win 2 more Rumbles before he retires.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I do.
That's Austin's record for, even if he stays at 3. That's Austin's record.
So, ladies and gentlemen, in order to win the WWE Signed Elite, you'll have to go to facebook.com/perched on the top rope on our predictions post, which will be posted Saturday morning. Go comment in the predictions after listening to us telling you who we think will win the men and women's Royal Rumble. Go type in who you think predicted right. And if we win and you're the first person to get it and comment, the right person, you will win the Elite. Now, if you want to win a signed 8x10 by literally anybody,
Could be me.
Let's see, Kevin Nash, Tatanka, Bayley. There is a very rare 3-piece of the Riot Squad 8x10 in there. I've got tons and tons of signed 8x10s. Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Ivan Putski. Post your full predictions. You can also include your own for the men and women's Royal Rumble on this one to win a signed 8x10. We will start off with the lights out match between Bray Wyatt and LA Knight.
I just want to correct you. It's the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. I forgot that they changed the name now that there's sponsors tied to the matches now, which is a little weird. Like, instead of pyro, are they going to get showered with Mountain Dew?
Hey, it's possible.
Will Mountain Dew be scattered like 2 liters with a black light underneath them as Bray Wyatt comes out?
And then later on this year, we'll get the Pepsi in the Bank match.
Listen, Bray Wyatt's lantern could be like a 2-liter of Mountain Dew when he comes out. You never know.
If we're gonna get a Pepsi in the Bank match, CM Punk better be in that one. All right.
Listen, I want to. We brought up that Money in the Bank is in London, England later this year. Shouldn't it be euros in the bank? Like in all actuality.
I mean, money, currency is currency. I mean, it's all looked at as money.
Currency in the bank.
Euros in the bank.
Currency in the bank. There we go.
Currency in the briefcase.
Wherever you reside. So, like, if you're
pesos in un banco.
Yeah, there we go. Yen in the bank.
Ooh, I like yen in the bank.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think this is an obvious one. It's his first match back, Bray Wyatt. I'm not even going to go into detail. I don't think there's no need for me to.
No, me either. The one thing I will say is they've been doing a good job with LA Knight at the same time, so I think he does get his shine in this match. I think he gets rubbed, but Bray's not losing in his first match back. No way, especially if it's on a pay-per-view. Bray wins.
Now, do we get Uncle Howdy either involvement or reveal, or do we get Alexa involvement in this?
I'm going to say no to Alexa. I'm going to say yes to Uncle Howdy.
Howdy.
Yeah, because I think as much as Alexa is tied to this whole turning heel because of the Bray thing, it also seems like they're trying to keep them as separate storylines. And it seems like Alexa's interaction is more with Howdy than it is Bray. Same with Bray, more with Howdy than Alexa. So I think we get a reveal of Uncle Howdy, which I think more and more people are starting to believe, or believe, should I say, that Uncle Howdy is most likely going to be revealed to be Bo Dallas, like I fucking told you guys 4 months ago.
I think it's Bo Dallas.
Oh, it's 100% Bo Dallas.
I mean, it's basically been all but confirmed that Bo Dallas is re-signed with WWE.
Right.
So I definitely feel like he gets repackaged. Even, because obviously once he's revealed, he's not going to be Uncle Howdy anymore. But I think he gets repackaged with a new name. I would still love if he went by the Taylor Rotunda name, because that's a bit more serious than Bo Dallas is. I don't think he goes by Bo Dallas this time around, though. And I think, like I said before, months ago, I think we're getting brother versus brother at WrestleMania.
I think regardless, whatever you call him, fans are going to cheer Bo Dallas's name.
And you can believe that.
I mean, there's times to this day that Bray Wyatt still gets Husky Harris chanted at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of who you are. People still chant sexual chocolate at Mark Henry.
Yeah, if Lord Tensai was still on TV, you'd get Albert chants every week still.
He'd get a lot of chants for a lot of different gimmicks he had.
Oh, yeah.
The hip hop hippo.
Well, all right, we're going to move completely on from that before I get distracted and start talking about Mantar. We have the Raw Women's Championship. Bianca Belair defending her championship against Alexa Bliss. Justin, I'm going to let you go first on this one.
Bianca Belair, like, not a question. I see Alexa losing this match as more story progression towards the Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy stuff that they're doing on Raw. So that's how I see it. Bianca's going to hold that title to at least WrestleMania.
Go ahead, Al.
I'm going in the opposite direction. I think with this progression that we've got going on, I think there's going to be something that happens at the Royal Rumble, and I think Alexa Bliss is walking out champion.
Okay. Wow.
Who is there left to face Bianca at WrestleMania?
Rhea Ripley.
I don't know, man. I don't see that as a big money world title match right now.
I don't see you as a big money world title match right now.
And you're not correct in this. I mean, you're correct in assuming that. I'm a nobody. I don't know. Just doesn't. I feel like the right time for Ripley was last year or even the year before, when she had way more crowd support behind her. And I think it would have been a better crowning moment for her as a babyface at WrestleMania.
Well, you know what? They put the title on Rhea Ripley 2 years ago at WrestleMania, and then Charlotte came back. You could literally like take anyone's women's title win in the last 5 years and just say, and then Charlotte came back to describe the whole thing.
And then Becky came back.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't go with Becky and Rhea, I think Alexa Bliss should walk in as champion so that she can continue her story progression and have a lead to WrestleMania.
Okay, so I've played out two scenarios in my head. If Alexa Bliss wins, that means she'll feud with Rhea Ripley as her story progresses with her and Wyatt, which to me would lead to believe that Uncle Howdy gets revealed, but we get like a Brothers of Destruction type tag team where they start working together and they all combined feud with Judgment Day. Bianca Belair wins. I can also see, again, I picked Rhea Ripley to win the Women's Royal Rumble. Already done. So I would say that we get that while the rest of the Judgment Day feuds with who the hell knows. And to be honest, I really don't give two shits.
Some respect on their name.
No.
Ex-con Dom's coming after you.
Is it also? I also think the Judgment Day is like slowly turning babyface as well. So like, I don't know where that puts any of the members.
They were supposed to be like a dark, mystique type group, and instead it's like
gold. Pure fucking gold.
Dominic, it's watching Dominic is like watching fucking latchkey kids.
Alex can't breathe now.
Didn't mute himself. Oh.
Latchkey kids.
Yeah. You heard me.
Bro, it's not even that bad anymore. Leave the poor guy alone. It's not like watching a 10-year-old Roxanne Perez wrestle on NXT every week.
Leave Dominic alone.
No.
He went from Eddie Guerrero Jr. to Rey Mysterio Jr. to Conan Jr. He is a prodigy of Lucha Libre heritage, you ignorant fuck.
He still sucks.
You still suck.
Our next match is the undisputed WWE Universal Championship match. Our tribal chief. That's right, I said our tribal chief, Roman Reigns, takes on Kevin Owens. Alex, I'll let you start this one off.
I think it's very clear that Roman Reigns is winning this match. However, this match I think is more so for the build of WrestleMania, as I believe that the build is going to heavily involve Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn very clearly going to be involved in this match, with Roman saying this past week on Monday Night Raw that he does not want to see him until the Royal Rumble. So Roman's got something up his sleeve. Whether Sami goes along with it, that's a different story. But yeah, Roman walks out of this one as champion.
What about you, Justin?
Yeah, definitely going to be some kind of involvement from Sami Zayn in this. I could see a scenario where this happens in a lot of Roman's matches too, where at least one of the titles come into play to use and, hit his opponent with. I could see some kind of miscommunication happening here where Sami hits Roman on accident, but it's believed by the bloodline that it's completely on purpose to help KO win. And then I would imagine next week on Raw or SmackDown, probably SmackDown, they do the angle and kick Sami out of the bloodline and beat him down. At some point we get Sami and Roman Reigns for one or both of the titles. And it should be happening at Elimination Chamber in Montreal, because that place is going to fucking lose it during a match like Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns.
While you're on that, Justin, we're going to forget about spoiler free as the way to be right here, because I posted this for us to see, and I believe it is now also on facebook.com/perched on the top rope. There's a little spoiler to the Elimination Chamber. It was spoiled on the take-home chairs that you get when you sit on the floor for the pay-per-views. Like my first pay-per-view was 2011 Night of Champions in Buffalo. Second row, I've got my chair. On the chair is the Elimination Chamber, the pod, with Sami Zayn. Do what you want with that. But Sami Zayn is the face of the chair.
You hear that, everyone? You can sit on Sami Zayn's face in Montreal this February.
That's all I've ever wanted. All I've ever wanted.
So do with that what you will. Yeah, I feel like this is a no-brainer. There's a misstep by Sammy, and yeah, we're all in agreement.
Yeah, Roman's not losing the title till WrestleMania at the earliest, so that's the rule I'm going by.
Yep. Now we've already done our men and women's predictions. Justin and I both went with Rhea Ripley, and Alex. Repeat your pick again.
I went with Bayley.
Thank you. And we all had different picks when it came to the men, as I had picked Bray Wyatt. Justin, the Steeler, picked Cody Rhodes. And Alex, you went with
Sami Zayn.
So, ladies and gentlemen, go to facebook.com/perched on the top rope Saturday morning. You'll see the post at 10 a.m. for your predictions for the Royal Rumble. Post your predictions for the matches. If you get them all correct, you can win an 8x10. You have to be the first person to post correctly. To go for a signed WWE Elite, you have to be the first to post and comment which out of the three of us guessed correctly. Good luck. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Perched on the Top Rope, but this has been an exciting one because all three of us have not been together in 2 months. Make sure you go back and you listen to all the other episodes between Alex and I, Justin and I, the three of us together. Or go as far. Justin and Alex go as far back as when Rob Hockman was co-host. Heck, you can probably even find some super early episodes when Izzy was a co-host. Apple, Google, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Podbay, you name it. Anywhere podcasts are found, you can find us. It is Perched on the Top Rope. Thank you, America. Thank you, Italy. In Ireland, we've been on your Chartable for well over 2 years now. We thank you. You can go to youtube.com/perched on the top rope, where you can watch these episodes of the podcast. You can watch the interviews that we have done, Justin and I, with Perched on the Top Shelf. Alex does great editing, youtube.com/perched on the top rope. And while you're at it, since Mr. 100, our perched correspondent over here, has his own YouTube channel, vlogging his experiences, I make an appearance on there. So make sure you go and you check these out, and there'll be more to come. youtube.com/InJustinWeTrust. Sundays, you can check out Alex at twitch.tv/perched on the top rope. Not just streaming wrestling games, but any game that you're into. So, in the comments while he's streaming, make sure you let him know what you want to see, what to play. And maybe we can get a little Jeopardy back up in here sometime soon. It's over at twitch.tv/perched on the top rope.
If we do have another game of Jeopardy, Justin wins, LOL.
Okay. Well, I will make sure that Alex is not hosting this time. I'll make sure that I host so that Alex can play.
That'll be
thank you.
interesting.
Because I need to see Alex versus Justin, as I came in second. However, Justin just dominated between the four of us that were playing. Special thanks to botched shots and chair shots and the smacked Raw Rewind guys. Those guys are awesome. However, we did better than you. Na boo boo.
Let's not slight the boys. There was 5 of you. You guys,
right.
you guys had the 2 of you, Will, Aaron, and Kyle.
Yes, yes. I don't know why I said 4.
We'll just pretend that we forgot Kyle. It's okay.
Okay, we're gonna pick Kyle's the one that we forgot. All right, that works. Okay. So, you can go to Twitter at Perched Top Rope, because Perched on the Top Rope is too long. You can check us out on Instagram, where we're posting hilarious memes and some great funny content of images memes, you name it, it's there. It's Perched on the Top Rope podcast. Now, if memes aren't your thing and you want to laugh at some videos, you can go to TikTok at Perched on the Top Rope, where we have Selena scenes recreating the greatest moments in wrestling history using Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On, because that makes everything better. And if you don't like that, and I say that there is some funny stuff, well, you can watch the
Give it to me.
Taskmaster, Kevin Sullivan,
Give it to me, Lee.
pumped by a dog. That's right. Former WCW producer, former WCW booking, former WCW talent. At one point, the guy y'all thought is the one who killed Nancy, Chris, and their son, Kevin Sullivan, getting humped by a dog.
Yeah, I missed that.
TikTok, it's Perched on the Top Rope. I went a little dark this time with it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Perched on the Top Rope. Make sure on Wednesdays, we'll finally be back to that. Wednesdays, Perched on the Top Shelf, getting back into reviewing Hasbro's and everything toys galore. And we have a lot to talk about, especially since there's Series 100 of the WWE Elite, Series 101. I've picked up some of the most rarest items you can imagine. There's a couple of unboxing videos that are also on TikTok and YouTube. So make sure you go check them out. If you want to see and get those early ahead of the podcast, go there and check them out. I'd say spoiler free is the way to be, but we kind of did that a little earlier by talking about the Elimination Chamber and the image I saw anyway. So we will end on this note. Boys, I will start with you, Justin. Give us a Briscoe's moment.
Ooh. Okay, so I'll be honest. I haven't really kept up with Ring of Honor consistently over the last 10 years or so. I had periods where I would, watch and then kind of, fall out of it. So with the Briscoes being so primarily in Ring of Honor for so long, I really didn't get to see a whole lot of their stuff. So really, their first real feud that I saw, and I hate to say it because it was just within the last year or so, it's another one of those things where it's like I don't appreciate someone, or in this case a tag team, until it's not there anymore and it's just kind of too late. But the trilogy with FTR, which I was thankful enough to be there live for one of their matches at Death Before Dishonor last year, just great tag team wrestling all around. And Jay Briscoe will be missed, and I'll definitely be checking out Honor Club, watching some of Jay Briscoe's and the Briscoes in general, their best matches and best segments.
I'm going to go with also kind of a recent moment here, guys. And Justin, this was kind of, as I look back after Jay passing, was kind of a special moment. We got to interview the Good Brothers, and fans, if we can, maybe we can twist Alex's arm to pull this clip on YouTube where the Good Brothers talk about the Briscoes and facing the Briscoes. Justin, you and I got to talk to them about that and their thoughts on the Briscoes, having wrestled the Briscoes elsewhere, like in Japan and things to that nature. So to hear people that you're interviewing speak kind things of somebody who at the time, Jay was alive, and for them to say the things that they said was just a really neat experience looking back now that he's no longer with us. So I'm going to go with that moment. It's not an in-ring moment, but it was a moment that we got to share with two other wrestlers and share their experience with Jay and Mark. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we send our thoughts and condolences to the Briscoe family at this time. Until next time, fans.